Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We got a fun one for you today. Are we in a bear market? No, we're in a penguin market. As we said on Tuesday's show, Pudgy Penguins going absolutely crazy. We saw that giant record-breaking sale in ETH for Pudgy Penguins. We also saw momentum coming back to that project, which has a new owner this year. We are going to be chatting with the one and only Luca later on today's show. We'll also be talking about some big news and headlines in the NFT space. So don't go anywhere, guys. This is the Roadmap. All right, everyone, as I said, this is the Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show, talking all the latest news and headlines in the NFT space. Before we get started with today's show, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by FTX US, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs. No transaction or withdrawal fees. You can use your phone or computer, and the FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. To find out more and get started with your own FTX account, click on the link in the description below. And also pinned to the chat, let FTX know that Benzinga sent you their way. Again, a big shout out to our friends at FTX for sponsoring today's episode. I think it's time to go ahead and get everyone warmed up. So if you are here, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel where you will get all the latest on stocks, crypto, and NFT across several great shows here. And also subscribe to all our social channels. While we are waiting for Luca, just want to go over a couple things right now. Let me go ahead and bring on my producer and co-host, Alyssa. Alyssa, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just chilling.
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 So we're waiting right now for Luca to come on. Of course, he bought Pudgy Penguins earlier this year. That collection had some internal problems, right, with their past leaders, and they actually kind of ousted the founders and saw new ownership, and now we get to hear more about what's next for Pudgy Penguins. I'm seeing the comments here in the chat, already laughing, Alyssa. Like I don't even know. Alyssa is still not feeling 100%. No, she's not high, Hans.
No, I get that a lot. It's okay. No, but the Pudgy Penguins, I'm really excited to hear about this interview and everything that Luca has to say.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get Luca on soon here on today's episode. Maybe we should go ahead and take a look at what's moving out there. If we pull up crypto here, I see that in the last 24 hours, Bored Apes up 142%, Alyssa. Now, this is pretty interesting. Of course, we talk about Bored Apes a lot. There was some concerns, over liquidity crisis happening, right, with the Ben DAO, where you can loan out against NFTs. We saw the floor price drop. I mean, I said on Tuesday, right, that over the weekend, the floor price of Bored Apes was passed by CryptoPunks. First time in 5 months. They were both trading around 66 ETH on Monday. And Alyssa, we're Thursday now. And Bored Ape floor price is 76.5. So up 10 ETH in a couple days here. Quite a turnaround for Bored Apes. What do you think of that, Bored Ape floor price going up and maybe silencing the liquidity issues there that people thought was going to send the floor price down even lower?
It's really not surprising. That's all.
Yeah, they always come back, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me pull it up. Boom. Bored Ape.
Yeah, 76.5. We're seeing sales volume up again. I'm not too surprised. I think, obviously we saw a lot listed, and there were some concerns, but they got scooped up, and, they continue to thrive and be the market leaders. And Alyssa, I think speaking of projects that are thriving, right, and seeing increases in sales volume, if you go to the 7-day there on CryptoSlam, I am seeing Pudgy Penguins up 238% over the last 7 days. Again, Penguins seeing some huge interest, and I think that part of the reason might be because of our next guest. I don't know if he would say that, but I'm going to go ahead and say it for him. But we're going to welcome here on to the stream. We have Luca Netz, who bought Pudgy Penguins earlier this year with a group and is now leading the way for Pudgy Penguins. So we're going to dive into what's been going on with Pudgy Penguins and also what is next. So it is, before I bring him on, Alyssa, I think we have a couple trailers here to play. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to play a trailer. Yes, indeed.
One trailer. Got it.
One trailer. Yeah. All right, let's roll this.
All right, there's the trailer for everyone. Pudgy Penguins are back. You see the title of the show, NFT Bear Market, ? We're in a penguin market. It is now my honor and privilege to welcome to the roadmap the one and only Luca. Luca, how you doing today?
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Doing great. Hope you enjoyed that trailer there. We always try to, with the bigger projects, hype you up a little bit. So we're here to dive into all things Penguins.
That definitely put a smile on my face, so thank you.
All right. Well, Luca, before we dive into Pudgy Penguins, can you just give viewers and listeners a little bit about your background? How did you first get started in the world of cryptocurrency and NFTs before Pudgy Penguins?
Yeah, so my background's an interesting one. I had an unfortunate childhood, just kind of bounced around. Didn't have the luxury of having a stable home, which is okay because I think it made me the man that I am today. But pretty early on, about 18, I started my first direct-to-consumer business online. 19, I ended up selling that business, and that was right around 2017, where crypto first started taking off. So I was able to make a good portion of money right before then. And so my brother and I were building Ethereum mining rigs. We had about maybe 20 1080 Ti's in our in my office as warehouse. And we were just mining, and I really believed ever since I first discovered crypto that it was the future. I think it was one of those technologies that empowered human behavior, right? Like when you think about how we should transact, I think being able to transact with one another without somebody in the middle is a basic human right. And typically when things are a basic human right, they end up working out pretty well. And so I dived into crypto and never looked back.
Love it. Thanks for sharing that story with us. Let's dive into Pudgy Penguins. How did you first get involved with Pudgy Penguins? We know, of course, that you bought the project earlier this year, but were you an early minter of Penguins? Have you been in from the start? And what really drew your attention to this project?
Yeah, so I think we have to rewind about 12 months to when Pudgy Penguins first minted. Now, I wasn't a minter, but I was pretty early in coming in. So I had just found out about NFTs maybe a month earlier, but I was collecting like Ferocious and like other big artists on Nifty Gateway. I wasn't really into the whole PFP stuff. And then a friend had reached out to me and said, look, like this PFP NFT, OpenSea, you got to check this out. Like this is the one. I decided I would jump in with both feet, and I was making a decision on which project should be my first. And I basically came down to three, which was Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, and Pudgy Penguins. And from a branding perspective, I decided to ape into Penguins for the simple fact that at the time, NFTs were only one thing, and they were digital identity, at least PFPs, right? There wasn't any utility, there wasn't teams, they weren't businesses. They were really like, hey, like be a part of this community, and here's a digital identity in which you can resonate with and identify with. And I thought from the digital identity narrative that Pudgy Penguins were the most inclusive. And when you think about digital identity and upside, you know, the one that's the most inclusive probably has the most upside if that's the core value proposition. And so I decided to buy a bunch of penguins. Thankfully for me, I was buying them at a couple $100. You know, they ended up skyrocketing to 20, 30, you know, 50,000 for some of the rares that I got. And I completely fell in love with the space. And so if it wasn't for Pudgy Penguins, I wouldn't be here today in terms of, you know, an NFT lover and somebody that, you know, I mean, I would always love NFTs, but you know how it is. Like when you succeed off of something like super, like off the first time you do it and it becomes super successful, you're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm doing this like forever. You know, if Pudgy Penguins wouldn't have worked out, then it might have been, you know, I might not have fell in love with the space like the way that I did. But it did. And so the opportunity came around about 7 months ago to purchase the project. And I felt like I had a fiduciary responsibility to give these penguins the life they always deserved. So for the last 5-6 years, I've been building brands. I've lived and breathed brand building. I've built multiple companies to 9 figures a year in revenue. And so I felt like if anyone's going to make these penguins succeed, it's got to be me. And if it wasn't for the penguins, I probably would have never succeeded in this space anyway. So I felt like there was a mutual understanding between the penguins and I that I had to come in and give this thing a shot.
Love that. You know, I remember reading a interview or comments you made after the acquisition, and you said that the process took longer than you thought it would. Can you just walk us through a little bit of like the behind the scenes of the acquisition? How hard was it to get this to the finish line? Were you confident the whole time that you were going to be, you know, the winner here? Were there other bidders involved? Anything that you can share into the acquisition here?
Yeah, so I won't dive into it, but like if you really break down the acquisition, there's like a higher power here, whatever you believe in, whether it's the universe or energy or God, whatever you believe in, there was a higher power at play. And so I really, you know, it's even made me even more excited to work on this because again, like there's really unique scenarios that had happened during this whole process that aligned it. I didn't have the highest bid, right? So I think this is really important. There was somebody who bid maybe 250 ETH more than me. There was 1,000 ETH bid on the table. But I had just been on a boat with one of Cole's childhood friends about 2 weeks before I made the bid. What a coinkydink, figuring one, I don't go on boats too often, and I don't really leave the house too often. So I just happened to go on a boat one day, and I just happened that out of the 10 people on the boat, one of them knew Cole Ethereum because he went to high school with him, right? And so Cole and I had a conversation. He took my bid seriously. He believed in my vision. He believed in me. And he said, look, I'm going to sell it to you. And so the process was very egregious. I actually got frustrated at my legal team at the time. I was like, why is it taking so long? And they were like, look, like there's no case law to reference here, right? Usually when you make agreements, there's other agreements that you can reference, but this was a really unique deal at the time. I think I'm probably one of the only people who've, you know, acquired a project like this. I think maybe with the exception of Yuga Labs. I think, you know, Yuga Labs, you know, I think other than them and maybe the Ghosts acquisition, I'm probably the only one. So, you know, at the time, our lawyer was like, you know, dude, we're inventing case law here. So like, be patient, because you don't want to buy this thing and then, have some sort of loophole as to like, you didn't acquire something or you missed something. So it took some time, but thankfully the community was patient. I know the community it's probably tougher on them than anyone else. At one moment, I actually didn't think the deal went through. Cole and I were stuck on a term that he wouldn't budge on, and I wasn't budging without that term. So he ended up budging on the term at the last minute, which was great. Thanks, Cole. And then, ever since then, it's been a magical ride. So,
Luca, do you still talk to Cole? And if so, how often since this deal went through?
I don't talk to him too much, but he definitely reaches out and texts me and says nice things, and I say nice things back. I think he really got a bad rap. At the end of the day, I've made, millions of dollars in maybe 7 or 8 different industries, and this one is by far the toughest. And so when you're counting all the different variables at play, I really like to reference these businesses, NFT projects, as publicly traded startups. And so if you really digest what that means, it's actually, a pretty difficult business model. So when you look at somebody like him who didn't really have like, top tier entrepreneurial experience or operational or leadership experience, you look at like his situation, he got a bad rap. Now, granted, there's certain obvious things he shouldn't have done, like when you hatch a fishing rod out of an egg, that's just not biologically correct. I think Darwinism, or I just think science would disagree with what happened there. But this is the NFT space, so I guess anything can happen. But other than like the couple obvious, shortcomings, I think just in general, like I think he got a bad rap.
Awesome. Thanks for the honesty there. Love those comments on Cole. Have a great question here from a Benzinga team member. So we of course saw the 400 ETH Pudgy sale recently for the #1 rarest Pudgy Penguin. So with that being said, and the fact that you paid 750 ETH for the Pudgy Penguins, rights and collection here, do you feel like you got a bargain now with your price with the 400 ETH sale happening recently?
Yeah. So the day I sent the money, I knew I got a bargain, right? So I think the art of the deal is making sure that, when you do a deal with somebody, you feel like you robbed a bank. And I definitely felt like at the time, like I knew what I purchased was, incredibly cheap, but I was buying a distressed asset at the time, right? And so like, I don't want it to be underlooked or overlooked in the sense that like, we've been working our tail off these last 5 months, and I've put together, some of the brightest minds in their respective fields to be on this journey with me. And we haven't taken any salaries. We haven't taken any pay. All the money in the business is going right back into it. We're pretty much bootstrapped. And, we've really worked our tails off and sacrificed everything in our lives to basically push this brand forward. And so I think Dreezus's buy was just like, an affirmation to like what we're doing. Like he reaffirmed, right, that like we're doing the right thing, and he put his money where his mouth is. Like I think a lot of people like, overlooked what we did with Pudgy Penguins. Like not a lot of people were willing to put their money where their mouth was. We did. And now we're starting to see other community members do the same. So I think it's just a testament to how hard we're working. I know Drezus personally. He's an amazing guy. He met me in NFT NYC. We met each other, and he was just like, look, I'm going to make a move pretty soon. I'm not going to tell you what it is. He kept me updated throughout the last couple months as to what he was doing. And I'm just like, I think his story is also a beautiful one too. Like it takes some serious conviction to spend 400 ETH on, any JPEG, no matter what it is. And that just like is another testament. Like I told our team when it happened, like Drezus is counting on us. Like this is just another person on the board. Like it's no longer about us, or, we've always been about the community first, but somebody like that putting their money where their mouth is the same way that we did in the beginning, like it's making us go 10 times harder. Like we now have an expectation, not only for the community, but for somebody like him to like really hit it out of the park. And at the end of the day, we sacrificed a lot to be here, and, our every intention is to be #1. And, I think just, having other people that share that same conviction just like makes us go even harder.
It looks like we have Drezus in the chat right now, actually watching live. So shout out Drezus, if this is, of course, the real Drezus, saying that you did get a deal because he spent half of that on one penguin, but he feels like he got a deal too. So Luca, after that big purchase, right, we obviously saw the floor price of Penguins go up, but we also saw some big names in the space, right? We saw Beeple put out an image that we, of course, had in that trailer saying the Penguins are back. We also saw a tweet from Garga, one of the co-founders of Yuga Labs, also praising Penguin. So Luca, what does that mean to see people like Beeple and Garga, highlight that huge sale and really validate Penguins going forward?
It feels good to say the least. Now, the issue is like we can't let it go to our head. And I think a lot of people are congratulating us right now. And like I am super grateful and I'm appreciative. But for us, like we still haven't proved what we want to prove. Like we came in here to be number one. We didn't come in here to be number two. We didn't come in here to be number three. We came in here to win. And so until we're, higher on the leaderboards than what we want to be, like I think I'm grateful for the congratulations, but the journey's only just begun. And per the nature of the deal, you're not going to spend $2.5 million on a project just to work on it for 6 months or 12 months. Like we're committed here for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I dropped a lot of amazing opportunities and businesses that I was working on to do this full time. And for us, it's billions or bust. So like I think from a team perspective, it's hard to work 6 months at something and not see like any real traction. And I think we got really unlucky with the bear market and how things turned on that. So it's nice to be acknowledged and it's nice to see that people are actually paying attention. But I will say like we've been grinding our tail off and I feel like we've been doing everything right for the last 6 months. So like I love it because, big sales are happening and floor prices appreciating. But I told the team, no matter what the floor price is, no matter what the sales are, like we're here to grind and we're here to build a legacy brand, $1 billion company. And we just got to keep our head down, right? Like we can't let it get to our head. We have not accomplished nearly like even remotely what we want to accomplish. And so the game has only just begun. And I'm really just more happy for the holders and the community because, moments like this, they just get really stoked and they're all happy and the vibes are good. And I think that's what makes me happy. I think that's the fulfilling part. But in terms of the business and the company, like our job is not even close to done.
Love that. Billions or bust. The job is not, close to being done. Luca, I mean, this has got to get people excited to hear everything coming. One of our favorite things to do here on the show. Of course, you said that you owned some Penguins prior to the acquisition. Let's talk about favorite traits, right? And with any NFT collection, there's all kinds of different traits. What are some of Luca's favorite Penguin traits?
Ooh, I don't want to be biased here and promote any selectism, but I love the tufts. I love the medals. I love the mustache. I think the puffer jacket is ultimately slept on. People really sleep on the puffer jacket. I think the Snapchat is phenomenal. I think this is one of those few collections. Like I think from my perspective, they did the traits and the rarity so right. I think so many collections botch that. Like with a Bored Ape, you know exactly what's rare, you know exactly what's not. With a Pudgy Penguin, you know exactly what's rare, you know exactly what's not. I think I'm gonna have to lean into my Olympic headband gang because that is my profile picture and that is my favorite Pudgy Penguin. But I think this is one of those few collections where just like so many of the traits are just awesome. And I think from a rarity perspective, a lot of people make the mistake here. But like what's a rare Pudgy Penguin, what isn't. Like this little glasses one with the scarf, that's a phenomenal penguin. If you go up a little bit, like that's a great penguin right there. That's as top tier as a penguin gets. Like that's money.
Love it. So, yeah, we were scrolling through some of the traits on Tuesday's episode. The hats. I was really drawn to some of the headwear, the hats. All these different traits, though, just really cool to see them all pieced together. We of course had Joey Moose on a past episode, and he walked us through some of his favorite traits as well. Obviously, the mohawk. Luca, another thing we did on Tuesday's episode is we looked at the highest price transactions, right? So, of course, we got the 400 ETH sale for the number one rare. If you take that one aside and you had the option between pineapple, banana, ghost, or shark, Luca, what would be the one of those four that you would pick?
So I've always my favorite show in the world is the Shark Tank. So I'd have to go with the Sharky Pengu, though I think they're all top tier. I grew up on Shark Tank. I watched every episode, every season. I'd have to go with Shark Pengu, baby.
Awesome. I believe that's the one Alyssa and I both picked as well, with the banana coming in second place for us. Luca, let's talk about what's next, right? So we got a little teaser on Twitter that we have some toys coming. We have Penguin, maybe plushies in the work, toys in the works. You're working on licensing out some of these penguins owned by the community. Talk to us about toys and what's ahead for Pudgy Penguins. Will we see penguin toys, in big retailers, or are these just going to be for holders and through the website?
Yeah, so the company that I come from before this is a company called Gel Blaster. It shoots like these little Orbeez guns, like a gun that shoots like little Orbeez. We're in every Target and Walmart and Best Buy, pretty much every major retailer in the United States. We're in it. And so I'm not making these toys just to sell them on a website and, make some sales. Like I'm doing this, I think Pudgy Penguins in and of itself has a unique opportunity to be a Trojan horse for Web3. I think we are the go-to and the premier IP that is actually going to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. And instead of actually just saying it and using it as a nice vocal keyword, we're actually going to do it. So I have every intention to put this in big box. I have every intention that this winter, when you're shopping for Christmas toys for your family, you're going to go down a toy aisle and you're going to see a Pudgy Penguin. That's what I'm doing it for.
Love it. Luca, I'm going to have to get my kids some of these penguins because I know they'll be excited. That's one of the cool things about my journey in NFTs is I get to show, off these NFTs to my kids. They're drawn into certain projects, penguins they love, and I'm excited to see toys on toy shelves. You also recently announced the Penguin Council. We have, members of big companies, formerly like Hasbro, Meta, Nansen, Nike, and others. What does this Penguin Council mean for the future of Pudgy Penguins? And how do you work through those prior relationships that these big names have?
Yeah, so I think, this advisory board was put together pretty much since the business started. I just thought it was a good time to just, give that transparency to the community and just really show them who's a part of this. And from our perspective, I think every great company has an advisory board, right? Like every company that I've built has had an advisory board, and advisors are really important, right? They give you a 0 degree of separation on certain objectives and certain tasks that you may not have that same 0 degree of separation on. They have a lot more experience than I do in their relative fields. And, I think it's really important as a leader to have people in your company that are strong where you're weak. Like I am very conscious of my abilities. I am very conscious of where we are as a company. I am very conscious of who I am as an individual and who as I am as a human being. Like, I think it's really about just plugging any loose holes in the ship and making sure that, when certain initiatives come about, I have the right people in my team or on my team to lean on to make the right decisions that are going to benefit the company as a whole. So I think, like I said, every great company that I've been a part of has had an advisory board. I think this is no different. And just really putting people in place that are strong where I'm weak and, that could potentially fill some gaps in the future.
Luca, you mentioned the infamous fishing rods earlier in the episode. We, of course, had Lil Pudgies as well. What's next in terms of airdrops? There was rumors we'd be getting more airdrops for penguins, also rumors of a token. Anything you can share in either one of those areas for penguins going forward?
Yeah, so I think from an airdrop perspective, we're really leaning into soulbounds as really quantifying the identity of our holder base and really seeing who's participating and who's really a part of it. I think from, I'm really conscious on how this space works. Like I've studied this, I've lived it, I've traded it. I don't think you can just drop a Web 2 CEO that's super accomplished into a Web 3 company and just expect them to succeed. I think my edge is yes, I've had really successful Web 2 companies and I'm a serial entrepreneur and this is what I live and breathe. But I think more importantly is I've spent thousands of hours trading NFTs. Like, I know exactly how this game works. So I'm not going to airdrop. Like, soulbounds are interesting because you can't buy or sell them, right? So like there's no dilution to the project. But I'm not going to airdrop something when, we're at where we're at. Like, I know what that does to a project. Like, adding more NFTs to the pool can really hurt you. And same thing with tokens. Like, you have to hit a certain threshold to do that. You can't just say like, I'm like going to release a token or I'm going to airdrop for the sake of making more money. Like, a lot of people are really short-sighted here. But like I said, like, we spent $2.5 million to purchase this project. We've given it our life. Like, this is not something that I'm going to be short-sighted on. Like, I'm not going to do, the short-sighted move to make a couple $1 million when in reality it doesn't move the needle for us, right? Like, we're here to make $1 billion company. We're here to be number one. We're here to set the bar. We're here to be the bar. And I know exactly how to do it. So like, airdropping or minting or like tokens, like that stuff will come. There will be a day when I think we've hit a certain threshold and a certain criteria where like we can do that stuff. But I'm not here to dilute the brand. Like, I have to get the main collection and little pudgies and pudgy rods far above where they are right now to even consider doing that stuff. And so I'm conscious of it. I know how this game works. I've watched tens of projects fail, go from potentially, blue chip potential to completely undercutting themselves because they wanted to make a quick couple $1 million. Like, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to win. And I know what it's going to take to get there.
Luca, last question here. As I said, we had Moose on before. We have this mantra around Pudgy Penguins created by him where he shouted on a Twitter Spaces, "I am my penguin. My penguin is me." Luca, what does that mean to you personally, that phrase from Moose?
Yeah, so I'm actually taking that quite literally. And so like you kind of can see it in our initiatives. Like, I'm really trying to empower the community, whether it's through gifts or we have our merchandise where you can now put your penguin on a canvas or put it on a t-shirt or put it on a mug. Like, I'm really leaning into this, I am my penguin is me. To me, it's not just a word. It's, who we are as a community. It's who we are as people. Like, this isn't just some sort of fad. This isn't like a one-time meme. I've found that the community members that are really a part of this community really believe that. And I want to do everything in my power to, empower that ethos. Like, that is, to me, not something that I'm just like looking at like, oh, Moose said it in a space, now people think it's funny. Like, I want to lean into that, and I want people to really feel like they are their penguin and their penguin is them.
Luca, this has been great. I want to appreciate, you taking time out of your busy schedule, joining us on the roadmap. So again, everyone, Luca Netz. Luca, we look forward to hopefully talking to you soon. You're more than welcome back on the show anytime, and we will be following the Pudgy Penguin story.
Thank you, Chris. You have a great day, and I'm a huge fan of Benzinga. So
thank you. That's awesome to hear.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Luca from Pudgy Penguins. What a fun interview that was. I think I'm going to bring on Alyssa so we can break down a little bit on that interview and then get into some news and headlines. Alyssa, what did you think of that interview with Luca from the background here?
Amazing. I really love Luca, and he's like so true to what he's saying, and you can see that he's actually putting the work in to pick the Penguins back up, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say one of my key takeaways was right there at the end, right? Asking about, these rumors we had of airdrops and a token. And I love his transparency of, without making fun of other projects that have done that route, saying, that it doesn't always work. And then he also said that he wants to get Lil Pudgies and the fishing rods back up to the level where they need to be. I mean, not financial advice, but I'd probably be looking at Lil Pudgies right now, based on that comment. Just throwing that out there, and floor price of 0.23. I mean, Alyssa, I love what he had to say, and I love, him saying he got a bargain, but also saying Cole got a bad rap, which I think is part of the storyline, right? But ultimately, the collection needed a new figurehead. It needed some new blood. Yeah, and we got Dreezus in the chat, which Dreezus, shout out for joining us today. 400 ETH for that #1 rarity. I mean, that definitely got this project some more excitement, but there was already excitement there. Like, it's not like this, what was brand new, but we're seeing people talk about penguins again, which I think is exciting. But I love that it's not going to Luca's head either, right? He knows he has a job to do. He bought this for $2.5 million. And Alyssa, you heard him say billions. He's building a $1 billion company with a B
brand, and he's pushing it out, and he's gonna bring it up. It's like, yeah, you can see it. Like I said, it's so nice to see, and I think the Pudgy Penguins deserve this.
Alyssa, how excited are you to see right there? You read my mind. How excited are you to see penguin toys in the stores hopefully for Christmas?
They look really good.
I will be buying some of those.
Yeah, if they're in for Christmas, you better get some for your kids.
Yeah. These are gonna sell. This is gonna be like Tickle Me Elmo, where you're like fighting with people in the store to get these. Like, I think these are gonna be hot, and this is what I want to see more of. Right? Not just selling merch, not just selling like T-shirts to your holders, not just selling through your website. Let's get those products into stores. And as Luca said, he has experience building companies. He has experience getting products into stores. Like, I think, again, Alyssa, we talk all the time about betting on the founder, betting on the person. Yeah. Drees is saying exactly what I'm thinking, right? I'm strong arming single mothers for these, like, Jingle All the Way, right? Picture Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, boxing people out, trying to get, the hot toy for the Christmas season. That's what I'm going to be doing to get my hands on these penguins. Teresa, since you're in the chat here, I'm curious your answer to the question we asked about the ghost, the shark, the banana, or the pineapple. Which one you would pick? Obviously, you picked the most expensive of them all with the #1 rarity and the 400 ETH. But Alyssa, how about him agreeing and saying the shark? Did that surprise you? Or what do you think of shark being his pick there too?
Nah, his reasoning was pretty good. Like, Shark Tank. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I think, again, that's definitely my fave out of those 4. I do still like, all of them. The ghost or the shark, Teresa says. Yeah, see? So that shark, man, whoever owns that shark, you better either hold on tight or set that price high, because there's a lot of people out there in love with that one. So, yep. But I agree. The ghost. We talked about that too, right? You got, Halloween, you got holidays, you got all kinds of marketing, different things you can do with that. So definitely some opportunities. Dreezus, we also talked about that banana though. Like, if you're Chiquita or Dole, I mean, buy up this banana and put some penguin stickers on your product. So, oh, it looks like the shark is owned by someone who's never selling. I mean, they say never, so I guess we'll see. But Alyssa, anything else? What else from this interview? I mean, there was a lot to unpack. We got through as many questions as I could fit in. But Luca was pretty much an open door.
Yeah, no, I liked his comment with like Joey Moose. Like the whole I'm my penguin is me. Like, that is the community, the penguin community, and like I said, they really deserve this like attention, and the fact that it's being lifted back up into a actual brand, and he's not just focusing on just the Pudgy Penguins. He's going for the little Pudgies and then the fishing poles, everything, making $1 billion company, and he's here to win, as he said.
Yeah, Alyssa, great to point that out. I do really like the comments he made there, right? And he even mentioned it, right? That a lot of times, people kind of want to laugh at that, that phrase, right? I am my penguin is me. But really, like, it is a mantra for, the whole collection, the whole community, right? Like, Moose isn't the only one who gets to say it. Like, he, of course, was first. But now everyone else who like owns penguins believes in it. They buy into it, and it becomes, this thing. And you know, you go back to that Twitter Spaces where Moose was saying it. It's not like he's laughing saying it. He's passionate. He is speaking it from his heart. And, you know, as I said, we had Moose on the show before. Shout out to Moose. If you're out there, I actually think I saw him tweet today that he was getting married soon.
Yes, he's getting married soon.
And I believe, if I remember right, Alyssa, in the any advice, which someone beat me to it, I was gonna say that she is always right, which someone said, but someone said you need to get her a penguin, and I believe he said he would be getting her favorite penguin after they get married. So maybe she should have been listening today to the favorite traits question, because it sounds like she gets to pick out whatever penguin she wants, maybe with some exceptions on price. I don't know Moose's rules, but shout out to Moose. Congrats on, you know, getting married soon, and looking forward to hearing more about what penguin she got. Who needs a ring when you got a Pudgy Penguin, right?
Yeah. You propose
maybe she gets both.
Yeah, no, imagine proposing with an NFT ring. I think I would take that over a ring. I'll be real with you.
I mean, I feel like it depends on which one, but yeah. I mean, maybe she gets a mohawk to go along with Moose. I don't know. But
pink mohawk?
The pink mohawk,
pink
yeah. Pink mohawk, purple mohawk to match the green. Like, I don't know. That could be kind of cool. So, but Alyssa, that was a fun interview. Been looking forward to that one for a while. We you know, talked about penguins on Tuesday, so a lot of talk about penguins this week, which I mean just goes to show that it definitely is top of mind. And I don't think we've seen the end. Obviously, we have toys coming, we have more products coming. That, you know, that council that they made, the advisory council, I think has some strong names, some strong companies on it. So that is pretty cool to see as well. I mean, that toy, like, it just looks sweet. I cannot wait.
It does look really good. Usually with like toys, like a lot of companies screw it up. Like, they don't look good, but that looks like a really high quality toy.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I think we are going to move on from penguins. I know. We could talk about penguins all day. We do have some other NFT news to share, but if you're here for penguins, please stick around to hear what we have to say and break down this news. But with that being said, make sure you smash the like and share this video and let the world know all the momentum that penguins have right now. And of course, big shout out to Luca for coming on. Alyssa, speaking of big companies, right, and getting products, not into stores, but online, we actually had a product launch yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. We had M&M's, the world-famous candy company, partner with Kingship, which is the group of a band made up of 3 Bored Apes and 1 Mutant Ape. And they did 3 different products, right? So the first one sold out pretty quick, $99.99. There also was 2 other products. Alyssa, if you scroll down here, so there's the products. $99.99. I think the middle one there, $59.99, and then the jar, I forgot what the price was, but yeah, so this is the gift box. Is it $59.99, right?
Yeah. Jar, right. $39.99.
Okay. So, and then look at those M&Ms, Alyssa. So that last picture there. So we have the Bored Apes and Mutant Ape from Kingship represented on the M&Ms. So, Alyssa, I have a lot of questions about these. I mean, one, would you pay $100 for a pack of M&Ms? Because some people did yesterday. It sold out. But if you bought like, you can't ever eat these M&Ms, right?
No.
Like, they have the Bored Ape image. It's not like a wrapper. It's not like you like unwrap it, eat the candy, keep the wrapper, or like a beer bottle, right? Where you like drink it, keep the bottle. Like, the product isn't necessarily the packaging here. It's the actual candy. Because like, that's the coolest part to me. The fact that there's Bored Apes on the M&Ms. Like, I feel like you can't ever eat them.
It would never be in. Never. It'd be like sealed up forever. Forever. No, this is really, really neat. And like I think I said
and
this
Crypto the
yesterday.
Only saying thought the same thing. Sorry, Alyssa, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I think I said this on Tuesday, like getting it like the cheaper ones, like they're out there and like whoever bought it, they see it and they like the brand is in their brain now. Like the apes are there. If they, you know, weren't in this project or even knew what NFTs were, or at least this one for some reason, you know.
Yeah. I did read in the press release because I wrote an article on this, which I can go ahead and drop in the chat here. That it said that Kingship and M&Ms would be collaborating in the future, or that M&Ms would be a part of the Kingship story moving forward. So I think we're going to see more products, and I'm hoping maybe, you know, some cheaper products, some available in stores someday. Who knows, right? Like maybe we can get a limited time, you know, M&M drop with Bored Apes. But definitely cool. It was very cool to see a big company like M&M's partner with Bored Apes, and it just goes to show that increased utility that we're seeing, right? You know, who would have thought over a year ago that people would be paying $100 for a package of M&Ms with Bored Apes on them? I probably would not have believed that.
No. Yeah.
All right. Well, Alyssa, speaking of big companies, I wrote another article using some data from Dune Analytics. A person on Twitter, Noah Levine, put out a list that showed the top 10 companies, like big companies in terms of revenue they have made from NFTs. And number one on the list wasn't a huge surprise, but let's talk about it. Nike. Nike has made $185.3 million from NFTs. Now that is counting primary sales and their cut of secondary sales. So they have over 67,000 transactions, $1.29 billion in sales volume. So, I mean, we're talking Clone X, Artifact sneakers, you know, all the different Nike drops, right? We're talking all of those. Remember, they acquired Artifact in December 2021. Alyssa, I mean, are you surprised at all that Nike is ahead on this list?
Nope, not at all.
Now, what might surprise you is how far ahead they are, right? Like, I feel like I would have guessed Nike, but if you asked me who the next biggest company was, I would have probably gone with like Adidas, right? Because they had that big drop with Bored Apes and Punks. Or maybe Tiffany, because they just did the CryptoPunks drop at 30 ETH, or maybe Pepsi or Budweiser, right? Because those are big names. Number two, though, is Dolce & Gabbana at $25.7 million. I mean, Alyssa, that's a huge drop from Nike to second place. That surprised me a little bit. How about you?
Yeah, Nike is 185.3 mil. Well, okay, and then that's a big gap, but also
big gap.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is. But I guess it's still not like surprising to me. It's Nike. But
and then
no, go ahead, go.
You go ahead.
Now I was gonna say echo what you said. Like it's surprising that Adidas, even Gucci is in like the second one, Tiffany's, heck, even Budweiser.
Yeah. So as we move down the list, Alyssa, Tiffany number 3, 12.6 million. Gucci number 4, 11.6 million. Adidas 5th place, 10.9 million. Then we have Budweiser and Bud Light coming in at 6th and 7th, 5.9 million and 4.0 million, so less than 10 million combined. Then the Australian Open, 1.7 million. Lacoste, 1.1 million. And here we go, Alyssa. 10th place, Nickelodeon, $583,000. I do have to say there is a bit of an asterisk with this list, though. Time Magazine was originally in the top 10, and Noah took them out because he actually worked with Keith Grossman and team on confirming the number. So Time Magazine has said that they made $10 million from NFT sales, which would put them at 6th place ahead of Budweiser and after Adidas. So Time Magazine actually in the top 10 as well. How about Nickelodeon? 583,000, Alyssa. Do you think that number would have been higher or lower based on the Rugrats, the Hey Arnold sales and that huge momentum they had?
I was expecting over 1 million at least, but
same.
they still have like a lot of characters they can go through to boost those numbers.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it just goes to show, right? Again, this is revenue after the cut, right? This isn't how much they had in sales volume. This is their actual revenue. We're talking millions of dollars that these companies are making. So I think, we're going to see big companies see these numbers. Obviously, Nike's going to get the headlines. I mean, they were the headline of my article, right? $185 million. But some of these other big, luxury brands making, 10 million. I mean, look at the Australian Open, 1.7 million. They sold NFTs of like the tennis balls. And then I don't know if you remember this drop, Alyssa, where like, depending on what part of the court the ball landed on in real life, like you could also get like the physical tennis ball. They did like the in real life thing with the mint as well. So that kind of, got some people interested as well, but a good way for like sports and big companies to really, get involved in NFTs.
I didn't actually know any of that. That is really cool.
It was a while back. I feel like it was like so popular, and then I feel like it kind of faded away. So I don't know if everyone got their tennis balls shipped out or not. I'd be curious to hear more. But look at, that video right there, like own it. So if you own that square, right? So like picture playing Battleship, and like if the number they call out is a hit, you get something, right? So if the tennis ball lands on that square, you got something.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's pretty sweet. So I like the physical element that some of these, NFT collections are doing as well. So that's some of the bigger companies, right, in the NFT space. And then Alyssa, speaking of that, if you can pull up the tweet here from Keith Grossman of Time Magazine, he elaborates on that with a tweet today. He says, "Easy to see NFTs as art, community, and collectibles, but just wait until we start seeing subs, as in subscriptions, such as iTunes or Netflix, and loyalty programs such as Bonvoy, which is Marriott Bonvoy, or the airlines grasp Web3. Don't underestimate the opportunity presented when shifting from online renters to online owners." Alyssa, I love this statement from Keith. I mean, remember, we have Starbucks coming up soon, right? Where they're going to announce what their NFT, reward program looks like, right? What kind of utility does it include? Picture hotels, and airlines, like they could get involved in the NFT space, right? Have a membership program where if you own an NFT, you get some sort of perks. I mean, a lot of these companies already have loyalty membership programs. I feel like it's an easy transition for them to make to the blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, they could do both, really.
Yeah.
Like, what would hurt doing both? And as we go on in the years, I can see more and more companies picking this up, and like Starbucks doing the rewards programs. All of the big stores, really. Like, I can see Target doing something if they haven't done anything. Have they done anything?
I don't think they have.
I can see Target doing something.
That's a good call out.
Yeah. Well, it's just going to be announced tomorrow.
I think like Target and Walmart getting into NFT space would be like ginormous, right? When they actually like announce or get in. The other one is Apple, right? Like if Apple doesn't even sell NFTs themselves, but maybe like they integrate more like hardware into the next phone, right? With like Ledger, wallets, etc. Even like the hint of them being more like welcoming or adapting to NFTs in the blockchain, I think would go a long way. And again, it's not like Apple has to make their own NFTs. They just have to welcome in the community. Shannon's comment here: have you guys been checking out the Billy Murray project? Is that in reference to Bill Murray, the Coinbase drop? I wonder. I have not looked at that.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up
because I know that he was going to do it, and it was going to have like moments from his life, and that's why he had that Coinbase account where he was buying. See, I'm seeing it hasn't gone live yet.
Really?
Is that true?
Well, I don't know. It's sold out.
Exploding Mums, Bill Murray 1000. Is this right?
Isn't it this one on Coinbase? Bill Murray 1000.
Yeah, sold out. Oh.
Yeah, sold out. Whoa, Coinbase. There we go. Released 82 out of 1,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the page I was just gonna send you. So 82 out of 1,000 released, 8.88 ETH floor. I mean, so it looks like these are being released in waves here. Maybe I don't know the details. I will definitely have to take a look at. I didn't realize it was actually out. Shame on me. But I don't know if I want to say this, but I also don't spend a ton of time on the Coinbase NFT marketplace. But this could be big for them, right? Coinbase needs a win here. Something's happening August 30th. Yeah, that was what I saw searching it on Twitter, was that a big drop was happening August 30th. So I'm wondering if the rest get released then. We will have to check back with everyone next week when I have more time to dive in. But it looks like we are out of time here, Alyssa. And I know next week at some point we definitely have to talk about Solana. Because I don't know if you saw this, but DeGods is now the 5th most expensive PFP collection on all blockchains. So it is behind Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Mutant Apes, and Moonbirds, but it is ahead of Doodles, Azuki, Clone X, and all the other Ethereum projects. I mean, Alyssa, I feel like my money would have been on Solana Monkey Business if any of them ever got to the top 5, because it's like the OG. But shout out to DeGods for getting into the top 5 PFPs.
No, I after having oh shoot, what's his name? Solana
Legend.
Well, Solana Legend, yeah. After having him on, he was really talking about DeGods, and it's like, I know Solana Monkey Business is like the OG, but like I really think and thought back then like DeGods is just it's up there. It's gonna be the top, and like now that I'm seeing it all over Twitter like it is right now, and now like it's it's not surprising to me at all.
And shout out Dreezus in the chat, right? DeGod's a great, good founder. And there is the Ute list, Alyssa, which I applied for and I'm hoping to get on. Utes is the next project from Frank. I would love to have him on. So Dreezus, if you have a connection, hit me up on Twitter. Handles right there on screen at Chris Katje. Would love to hear more about this. One of the things we'd love to do more on the roadmap is have more Solana projects on. There's definitely a ton of excitement growing in that space compared to ETH. So Dreezus, let me know. We would love to have him on. We'd love to have you on sometime too. I mean, I'd love to hear more about this 400 ETH Penguin purchase. So let us know. But we are out of time. But thank you again to our sponsor, FTX, and also to our guest, the one and only Luca Netz, who now is in charge of Pudgy Penguins. Alyssa, I am my penguin, and my penguin is me. That was a great interview. Make sure to share with your friends, and we will catch everyone next week on the roadmap. Stay tuned. You got more great content coming up, including pre-market prep at the close at 3:30, breaking down all the top movers and news for stocks and crypto. Until next time, take care, everyone.
See ya.